Yo, what's up, guys? Koi here. So this one and Zamasu are gonna be the last two builds videos I work on for the night, and that means I've completed my entire category of every single build video in GEKISHIN SQUADRA. Now, whew, man. So the only problem with these last two is that I could not get the gameplay for these two characters, so we're just gonna have to go with this raw. And I'm just gonna explain every single tidbit about these characters. Sadly, I can't show you guys any clips. So let's go into it. Oob. Now, Oob, if you guys do not know, Oob is the reincarnation of Kid Buu. Uh, Kid Buu, whenever he died to Goku's Spirit Bomb, Goku wished for his reincarnation. And years later, right before GT even starts, Goku takes his guy on a trip to go train and makes him into a world class fighter. Now, let's talk about him in game. Now, he's quite the interesting character. He has this ability wherever he actually uses some of his super attacks, he gains Cyclone energy. Now, this Cyclone energy is like a burst of energy that will pretty much like shoot out with your attack, which is really broken. So he's going to be entirely based off of rush attacks more than his super attacks alone. His super attacks are already going to do a lot of damage, but the rush attacks is where the money's being made. Now, with the Cyclone Steam, there is a little bit of a small issue, and that's if you kind of try to hold on to it all, it will kind of fall out over time. So you do need to keep it consistent, and I think that the best way to do that is to work with your skill 1, which we'll talk about right now. Obviously, we did just talk about the rush attack, where you will gradually be using the Cyclone energy that will be shooting out homing blasts after the person as well. Now, your skill 1 is very good. You're going to be using the skill 1 quite a bit. Skill 1 is going to be the thing that helps you keep your Cyclone in general, your Cyclone energy, because if you level up skill 1 to, like, let's say, like, level 3, you're just going to be shooting it out consistently, and you're going to be gaining a bunch of, like, Cyclone energy. Now, the difference is that if you do miss, you do get a little less Cyclone energy, but that's not really a big thing because with this skill, you can consistently have 64 Cyclone energy all the time, as long as you just keep spamming it when its cooldown is up. Now, Brutal Buster. Brutal Buster is really interesting. The way that this one works is it's kind of like a self-strengthening crazy tornado. Now, the reason why this works the way it works is because it's kind of like your all out burst. So all the energy you've kind of kept up with, any of the energy that's in your inventory, you just kind of release it all as with your rush attacks as one giant shooting like attack. And it's really crazy because of how fast it is. Now, I don't really see this used very often because it's not really the biggest move on his list that does the most damage, believe it or not. It's actually not the move that does the most damage on this whole kit. This is actually the third move that does the third most amount of damage, which is pretty crazy if you have all stacks. But I mostly use this to scare people off. I'm going to be entirely honest. It also shortens the increases the number of blasts from rush attacks and shortens its skills cooldown. So it's pretty crazy. It just keeps shooting. Now, the thing about that is that we talk about skill 3, Shooting Chaser. Shooting Chaser is actually crazy. Shooting Chaser allows you to shoot multiple unavoidable energy blasts at anybody that you can see within that area. So you dash into them. And by the way, every single level equals another dash. They don't really put this in there, but every level equals a dash. And this is actually the first skill I recommend. No. My bad. It depends on your playstyle. If you want to be like running in there with Shooting Chaser and you know you're going to get out of there just fine, cool. If you just want to poke, get Raging Barrage first maxed out. But honestly, Shooting Chaser is going to be like always my go-to because you could just go in and go out. Also, it's 3 free dashes, not including your actual like vanish step. So that's pretty broken to me. The mobility on this is pretty crazy. Last but not least, Cyclone Burst. Now, Cyclone Burst is actually crazy because it has multiple uses. It fires a wave of energy blast in a set direction. Uses all Cyclone energy possessed when activated. So all that energy that you have stored up, let's say you have all 64 stored up, it's all going to go into one blast. It's really crazy. Obtains Cyclone when some blast returns after hitting the enemy. Applies the candy effect to an enemy when their HP drops below a certain percentage. Add skill 3, it makes it easier to turn heroes into candy when energy hits them. Also increases damage dealt and the amount of Cyclone obtained. Now, the way they say this, right, is a bit weird. But whenever you turn someone into candy, now you go back to Brutal Buster. So if you go Cyclone Burst into Brutal Buster, then you just start shooting, you will remove the candy effect and just do a crap ton of damage. But, you know, it just depends on your playstyle. Honestly, none of these are going to matter because shooting, chase, and barrage, like Rage Barrage, are the best. I'm telling you, man. We're going to talk about it in the build right now. So in the build, you really just want Snowball, Super Snowball, and you want to make sure you don't die. And the reason why is, like, getting that skill 3 maxed out is probably the best way to do that, and to jump in and out and just do as much damage as you can. Because 3 dashes is 3 dashes. 4 dashes if you count your Vanish Step. And you don't really need to defend yourself if you can move that fast. Prepare to die, of course, if you're going to be spamming energy blasts, this is fantastic because this adds on to that whenever they're already low, and it just ends them so quickly. This one is your choice. I like Pursuer because whenever you land 2 energy attacks, you just go at them. You just go, you spam, and you do a lot of damage with Pursuer, and trust me, it does a lot of damage. But if you really want to focus on those M1s, Wicked Warrior actually stacks up with that, and you do like a lot of damage with Wicked Warrior with Oob's attacks and stacks of energy. So that really just depends on you. Obviously, I do have a soft heart for Pursuer with spammy enemies. Now, if I were going to be like a guy who just like wanted to kind of make up a build per se, and you kind of want more defensive instead because you're kind of new at Oob and you want to like catch a feel for him, you know what I mean? Then you kind of want to go for something like Strategic Escape. Just because like he is very, very easy to get caught. Like he could get caught very quickly. I've seen hits like really track down Oob and shut down all of his potential. It's actually crazy. And that's the only blue card I would recommend, because I don't really recommend any other blue card besides that. The other thing is, like, if you run this blue card, then I would prefer running, if you want to be, like, defensive, I always bring this up for, like, any build that I feel like needs a little bit of defense. Defense step is always the way to go at level 3. It stops super attacks from one-shotting you. It's actually broken when used. People just don't use it enough, and that leads to them just getting one-shot by, like, Goku's Spirit Bomb. And of course, you could match that with Solid Barrier with a little bit of HP, or you could go with like Strategic Escape into Art of the Decoy into Defense Step, or you could go Super Snowball into Prepare to Die into Defense Step. Like, there's different methods you can use. I think it just goes basically based off of like you as a player. How comfortable do you feel playing defensively versus going full offense like I do already? And also, like, Lightning Swift is kind of nice. I do recommend Lightning Swift if you just want to go in and out. You don't want to really fight. Like, you want to jump in with, like, Lightning Swift. Because catching people is a big issue with Oob. Because you don't really have a way to slow them down entirely. Like, you do, but you really don't. So Lightning Swift is nice when you just need to, like, finish off somebody. But if you really just want to go crazy, trust me, Super Snowball is the way to go. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to check out the playlist. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell down below. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy, and bye.